1. Free breakfast isn't really free. Have you ever chosen a hotel simply because it offered free breakfast? At first, it sounds like an amazing deal. After all, who doesn't love getting something for free? But here's the surprising truth. That breakfast usually isn't free at all. In many cases, you've already paid for it, you just don't realize it. Hotels know that the word free is one of the most powerful words in marketing. The moment people see it, they immediately feel like they're getting extra value. And once that feeling appears, they're much more likely to book the room. Psychologists call this the zero price effect. It's a fascinating psychological bias that makes people overvalue anything labeled as free, even when it's actually included in the price. Imagine you're comparing two hotels. The first hotel costs $120 per night and includes free breakfast. The second hotel costs $105 per night, but breakfast costs $10 if you want it. Which one would you choose? Most people instantly pick the first hotel. Why? Because getting breakfast for free feels like a better deal. But let's do the math. At the first hotel, you pay $120. At the second hotel, even if you buy breakfast, your total is only $115. You actually save money. Yet millions of travelers still choose the first option because the word free changes how the brain evaluates value. Hotels understand this perfectly. That's why you'll often see offers like free breakfast, free parking, free Wi-Fi. These extras make the room appear much more valuable, even though many of the costs have already been built into the nightly rate. And here's something even more interesting. Once guests believe they're getting a great deal, they're also more likely to spend money elsewhere in the hotel. They might order room service, book a spa treatment, buy drinks at the hotel bar, or pay for a late checkout. In other words, the free breakfast doesn't just help hotels sell more rooms. It creates happy customers who are more willing to spend even more money during their stay. So the next time you book a hotel, don't let the word free make the decision for you. Take a moment to compare the total cost. Because sometimes, the best deal isn't the one that looks free. It's the one that actually saves you money. 2. Luxury hotel lobbies make you spend more. Have you ever walked into a luxury hotel and instantly felt like everything inside was worth more? The marble floors, the sparkling chandeliers, the elegant furniture, the soft music playing in the background, even the pleasant scent in the air. None of these details are there by accident. They're carefully designed to influence the way you feel and ultimately, the way you spend. Psychologists call this the halo effect. It's a mental shortcut where one positive impression influences how we judge everything else. When a hotel lobby looks luxurious, your brain automatically assumes the entire hotel is high quality. As a result, expensive prices suddenly seem reasonable. A cup of coffee that costs $10 doesn't feel outrageous. A spa treatment for $200 suddenly feels like part of the luxury experience. Even upgrading your room for another $50 seems easier to justify. Hotels understand this perfectly. That's why they invest millions of dollars in creating beautiful entrances and impressive lobbies. Because the first few minutes of your stay shape your expectations for everything that follows. The more luxurious the environment feels, the more comfortable you become spending money. Research has even shown that people are more likely to purchase premium products when they're surrounded by elegant environments. In other words, the lobby isn't just welcoming you. It's quietly changing your perception of value. So the next time you check into a hotel, take a moment to look around. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I paying for what I actually need? Or am I paying for the feeling this place creates? Because sometimes, the most expensive thing in a hotel isn't the room. It's the atmosphere that convinces you to spend more. 3. Room upgrades are designed to be hard to refuse. Have you ever checked into a hotel, only to hear the receptionist say, "For just $30 more, you can upgrade to a deluxe room"? It sounds like a small amount of money. And that's exactly why it works. Hotels know that by the time you arrive at the front desk, you've already made the biggest financial decision. You've booked the room. You've packed your bags. You've traveled to the hotel. At that point, spending a little more doesn't feel like a big decision anymore. Psychologists call this the commitment and consistency principle. Once people commit to one decision, they're much more likely to stay consistent by accepting additional offers. Hotels take full advantage of this. Instead of offering the expensive room first, they wait until you've already committed to the standard room. Then they present the upgrade as a small improvement. Not $30 extra, but only $30 more for a better experience. Notice the difference? Your brain stops thinking about the total cost of the trip. Instead, it focuses only on the small difference between the two rooms. This is known as anchoring. The original room price becomes the reference point, making every upgrade seem inexpensive by comparison. And it doesn't stop there. After upgrading your room, you're much more likely to purchase breakfast, book a spa treatment, order room service, or choose a late checkout. Because once you've said yes once, saying yes again becomes much easier. Hotels understand that one small upgrade often leads to several more purchases. That's why reception staff are carefully trained to present upgrades in a friendly, low-pressure way. It feels like they're doing you a favor. But in reality, they're using one of the oldest psychological techniques in marketing. So the next time someone says, "It's only $30 more," pause for a moment. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I paying for something I truly need? Or am I simply saying yes because I've already committed? Sometimes, the easiest sale isn't convincing someone to spend money. It's convincing them to spend just a little bit more. 4. Only one room left makes you book faster. Have you ever searched for a hotel online and suddenly saw a message saying, "Only one room left at this price"? Or maybe, "Booked 27 times in the last 24 hours. The moment you read those words, something changes inside your brain. You stop browsing. You stop comparing prices. And you start worrying that if you wait any longer, the room will disappear. This is one of the most powerful psychological techniques used by hotels and booking websites. It's called the scarcity effect. Humans naturally place a higher value on things that seem limited or difficult to get. The less available something appears, the more desirable it becomes. Hotels understand this perfectly. That's why booking websites constantly display messages like, "Only 2 rooms left. High demand. 12 people are viewing this hotel right now." These messages create a sense of urgency. Suddenly, booking the room feels more important than finding the best deal. But here's something interesting. Sometimes, there really are only a few rooms left. Other times, those messages simply reflect limited availability on that particular website, or they're designed to encourage faster decisions. Either way, the psychological effect is exactly the same. Your brain becomes focused on avoiding loss instead of making the smartest choice. Psychologists call this loss aversion. Research shows that people fear losing an opportunity far more than they enjoy gaining one. That's why many travelers book the first room they see, without checking nearby hotels, comparing prices, or reading enough reviews. Hotels know that fear is often stronger than logic. So before your next trip, when you see the words, "Only one room left," take a deep breath. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself one simple question. Is this really the best hotel for me? Or am I simply afraid that someone else will get it first? Sometimes, the most expensive booking isn't the one with the highest price. It's the one you make in a hurry. 5. Minibars are designed to make you overspend. Have you ever opened the minibar in your hotel room, looked at the tiny snacks and drinks, and thought, "I'll just grab one. It seems harmless. After all, it's only a bottle of water, a chocolate bar, or a small can of soda." But that's exactly what hotels are counting on. Minibars aren't there for your convenience alone. They're carefully designed to encourage impulse spending. Here's why they work. After a long flight or a busy day of traveling, your brain is mentally tired. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. When you're exhausted, you're much less likely to compare prices or think carefully before making a purchase. Convenience suddenly becomes more important than saving money. Imagine it's 11:30 at night. You're thirsty. You could leave the hotel, find a convenience store, and buy a bottle of water for $2. Or, you could simply open the minibar and pay $6. Most people choose convenience. Hotels know this. That's why minibars are placed just a few steps away from your bed. Everything is within easy reach. The less effort it takes to buy something, the more likely you are to buy it. And here's another interesting fact. Many guests don't even check the prices before taking an item. They assume it can't be that expensive. Only after checking out do they realize they paid $8 for a soda. Or $10 for a small bag of chips. One small purchase doesn't seem like much. But when thousands of guests make the same decision every single day, those tiny purchases generate millions of dollars in extra revenue every year. So the next time you check into a hotel, take a quick look at the minibar. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I paying for the product? Or am I paying for the convenience? Because sometimes, the most expensive snack isn't the one that tastes the best. It's the one that's sitting just a few feet away from you.